Hey, everybody, welcome to the MURCA Guns and Freedom podcast with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. As always, this is just an open conversation between me and my viewers. You know, you can also just talk amongst yourselves in the live chat. This is just a little place we can come every day, have conversations with like-minded individuals about similar interests. And you don't have to do that with me. You can do it amongst yourselves in the live chat. But if you do want to talk to me, that's why I'm here. Mainly so you can call me out if you think I've been wrong about something. If you disagree with something I've said in one of my videos, even if it's just something like, oh, you said the wrong price, or you're wrong about that caliber. It doesn't have to be anything bad or big. Just let me know. If I've been wrong about something, I want to be corrected. I might not have even known what I said. I might have said the wrong thing. So feel free to correct me. Or if you disagree with me on a major issue, come on in, say your piece. We can do an episode of Spank the Yank. You can educate me. That's the main reason I'm here. So I'm accessible to my viewers. And since I'm here, you can just ask questions, suggest topics, whatever you want to know about. Doesn't have to be gun related, can be car related, wrestling related, murdercicle related, comic books. I love all that stuff. I believe it or not, you might look at me and think, well, there's a really cool guy. There's nothing nerdy about him. But I know some stuff about some things that might be considered nerdish, like comic books, science fiction, horror movies. So feel free to ask me what you want. Let me get over here and start the chat by reading the questions, reading the orders for merchandise, because merchandise sales funds are TYMP, along with Subscribe Star. So let's get over here and see if we got any orders coming in today. We do. We got James Bear. He got the humorous chicken, which is actually don't point your Glock at your cock shirt. I don't know what it's called. What could go wrong? I like that design. I haven't sold many of them, but I like that design. Then we got a Phil Loves You mug, an ornament. Well, I didn't know I still had the ornaments over there, but got that over there. So, and those sold, and a car magnet. And that was Jason Thompson. Now, is Jason Thompson already on the Church of Phil list? Let's see. Jennifer, Derek, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he is. I think I'm going to have to add him to the Church of Phil for buying that mug. Jason Thompson. All right, now he's on there. But thanks to those people for buying merchandise, helping support our programs we run. In this case, one of those actually supports Pets and Vets, the Rooster would. So thanks to those two people for doing that. Don't have any new Subscribe Star members or patron members to welcome into the fold. However, Ben Coors did upgrade his membership this month. He's getting in on that silver bullet drawing giveaway. Because remember, if you sign up as a $5 or more patron this month, you get one entry for every $5. Or if you're already a patron and you increase your patronage by $5, you get an entry. And you only got to do it for 1 month. You can put it back down next month. To the 4570 vampire round that I'll be giving away 3 of these. And if you look here, they've got a rosewood core. So not only do these kill werewolves, they kill vampires as well. So I want you all to be prepared for that. And I'm one of the few channels that actually cares if you get eaten by a werewolf. I made it my goal to make sure silver bolts were available to people. I realized that goal. And now I try to give as many of them away as I can to help people be prepared. That is my one biggest contribution to the gun community, is that I made it to where people can be defended against werewolves, because until then you couldn't buy silver bullets. You had to either make them yourself or, according to the movies, find some grizzly old man in a shack somewhere that would make them for you. But yeah. All right, let's and remember, if you want to become a patron or Subscribe Star member, you want to sign up to get registered for the Silver Bullet or become a Subscribe Star member, go over to tympistolproject.com, which you can't see because I forgot to take down the thing here. Well, that I just popped up another one. There we go. tympistolproject.com, like it says in the bottom corner of my feed here if you're watching this live. Over there, you can become a Subscribe Star member, a Patreon member. You can just donate on a one-term basis. You can have a link there to go buy merchandise, like my Mess with the Bow Wow, Get the Pow Pow shirt I'm wearing here, or the I Love Guns and Animals. People piss me off. You can see there's often a pet theme, animal theme to my shirts and stuff. Go over and buy merchandise, or you can register to be a recipient of TYM Triple P yourself on that website. So everything you need to do, you can do from there. With that being said, let's see if there's any questions coming in. I got one coming in right here I need to get to. Let me go ahead and get my PayPal account up so I can see if there's any chats coming in there. But I got one coming in over here from Thomas Inyong. Inon, how do I pronounce that? Yankee, if money wasn't in the mix, what would you get between a 686 Performance Center 2.6 inch or a Python 4.25 inch? Carry not in the mix, and why? And my last name sounds like Inon. What made him think I wasn't going to be able to pronounce his name? If money wasn't in the mix, which one would I get? That's a harder question than you think. The 686, especially that Performance Center, is one of the best guns made, just the 686 period. I maintain that it's the best gun in the current gun market, maybe even ever made. As far as being versatile, 7 rounds of 357 Magnum, well built, capable, reliable, all these things. So it's one of the, if not the best gun made, period. Best series of guns made ever, I think. But the Python, that trigger, a little bit better. So I think what it would come down to for me, the Python is prettier. The Python has a better trigger. So if I was keeping it as like just like I collect guns and this is a collector's item, or I want to use it at the range and I want the best trigger I can have, Python, definitely. If it's, I'm going to carry it, which you're not going to do, well, then the shorter barreled 686, because, you know, the 2.5 inch barrel is going to carry easier than 4 1/4. The only other way I would choose the 686 in this situation is if it was going to be my do everything gun. Like I was going to have it for home defense. I was going to shoot it at the range or whatever. Then I would have that gun because I think that's the better overall all-around gun. And since it's a Performance Center, it's nice and it's pretty and it's something you can really enjoy. So that makes it an even harder decision between it and the Python. But right now, if I was buying one right now, I'd buy a Python. If I didn't have any revolvers and I needed one for everything, it'd be the 686. I hope that didn't muddy it up too much. I have a tendency to make easy questions pretty hard to follow. All right. Bad thing about being a one-man operation is I don't have anybody to edit out when I'm drinking sodas and stuff. So hopefully people don't mind pauses. All right, let's get back over to the questions over here, see if there's anything coming in. What is today's date? Today is the 23rd. Okay. Dale Rickety chimed in here and said, I got nothing. Well, we all give Dale Rickety a pass. We know he's getting up there in years. He's 107 years old. So we give him a pass on knowing what's going on or having good questions. Andrew Howard did his $2 tithe to Phil and said, I was charged with a felony for bouncing a check for $212 to buy groceries, deployed, pled down to a misdemeanor. At least you got it pled down. $212, that's kind of a low threshold. I think the threshold in West Virginia used to be $500. I think it was if it was more than $500 total on one check or multiple checks, it was automatically a felony. And they don't really give poor people plea deals much there. They want to sock it to you. Jason Thompson, that's in order. Paul Bidenbach did his $2 tithe to Phil and said, Hail Phil, cannot trust our government to keep all the dangerous people in jail, makes the choice conditional. Well, you can't trust the government to keep dangerous people in jail. That's true because they don't want to, because some of their biggest donors are people who run the for-profit jails. So they say, we don't want those dangerous criminals. They cost money to take care of. We want those easy to keep. You know, we can basically run a summer camp and make millions of dollars. So give us your drug offenders, your check writers, your stuff like that. Those felons. Yeah, let them go. They'll work themselves out in public. So yeah, you can't count on them. That's for sure. But then you don't justify one wrong with another wrong, though. That's the. Johnny Mandrick chimed in and said, is anything in comics more ridiculous than Batman versus Superman debates? Well, yes. I agree. I'm not saying no. There's some, there are probably more ridiculous things, but it is very ridiculous because if they wrote Superman consistently, and he preemptively was going to take people out, well, not even Batman, I don't think, would stand a chance. I love when they show, like, we're facing off, me to you, I'm going to come at you, and he'll run at him, and then Batman gets out a kryptonite ring or something, or sprays kryptonite gas. Superman can move so quickly that Batman wouldn't have even known there was a fight before his neck was snapped. So it's the same thing with the Flash. They do these things all the time. Like the Flash is running at one of the bad guys and they draw their gun and shoot ice under his feet. By the time they pulled their gun out of their holster, they'd already be in prison. So it's just the writing. It's always very convenient writing. It's plot armor. It's like I was fighting with people the other day about how Spider-Man crushed Captain America's shield. No, he couldn't. He could not. Even Thanos couldn't when he tried. So, no, Spider-Man could not crush. But, I was reading a comic where I'm like, that's because you've read some of these recent comics that are written by failed Hollywood writers who decide to come in and write comic books to make a paycheck. And they can't deal with the characters. They don't understand the characters. And they also can't write creatively enough to overcome their limitations without just obliterating their limitations. So they write bad stories that are not canon for the character or don't follow the canon of the character. And that's what people have been subjected to in recent years. And I feel sorry for them because they don't understand the real characters. And one of the biggest things about characters like Spider-Man is that they're not the strongest superhero, but they still find a way to prevail because they're smart. And today's writers just can't handle that. Or they're tenacious, Eric Wong says, Punva sent an email with my magnet collection. Well, I'm moving on to emails right now, so I will read it. Hold on, let me get it open up over here. I'll share some emails right now because we're out of super chats already. This is going to be a short chat. Maybe people did not understand the question earlier. Maybe just nobody's talking today, although there's like 135 people here. Where's my, here we go. Here's the picture. The collection so far, he's got the Guns Make Me So Happy magnet. He's got the In This Country We Used to Shoot Nazis magnet. We got the Mouse Guns, which is the Mickey with the guns. He's got the Little Consideration and a Little Thought for Others. That makes all the difference. And if that fails, shotgun. And he got the Pew and Piglet. The Piglet gets a gat. And he says, put on some pants, you dirty pervert. So, because Piglet's wearing a jumper. He's not green. He's wearing a jumper. Or a little bodysuit, like a little one-piece bathing suit kind of a thing. So he's actually covered his naughty bits. Let's see here. Then we got an email coming in from share screen. Where is it? This one is from Frank Rodriguez. That's my niece's maiden name, man. Oh, he got an octopus from... Oh, it's at IKEA. I might have to get on there and order me an octopus. That looks pretty cool. It's not, that's the sofa. That's $1,000. The octopus only $20. There's an IKEA right across the river. I need to go over and get me an octopus. An octopussy. I wonder if they got them at my IKEA. And remember to look that up. IKEA. Well, I hate to drive all the way over there and don't got it. I wish it was purple. Wish they had a purple one. Thomas Inon. See, I don't know how to pronounce names. Oops. Last one, 629 4-inch versus 221. 2021 Anaconda 4.25-inch. Which one would you get if you could have one? If you'd only have one. Well, I'm assuming since I get to purchase them, I get to choose which one to purchase. I would get the new 629 Mountain Gun No Lock from Smith & Wesson over the Anaconda. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Python, but it loses a little something in the 44 mag. It's just not as special. So I would say go with the 629, but get the no lock mountain gun version. If you haven't seen it, look it up. That's a beautiful gun, and it doesn't got the lock. So that one was an easier answer. Ghost Shadow chimed in, says, no one wants to admit to something that is a crime on a semi-public chat or anything YouTube may be watching. So fuck them. If you're the kind of person that believes fuck them, then fuck them. Not that I'm saying everybody should commit a crime, but there's nothing prosecutable about saying something online. Unless you actually go and do something later, they might be able to search your back history and use that against you. But as far as just saying something online, there's nothing prosecutable about that. Unless you're like threatening the president or something, which I don't think anybody in here wants to hurt the president. I don't think anybody here wants to hurt anybody. It's like the whole thing of like, oh, if you don't believe in God, then what's to keep you from going around and killing as many people as you want to kill? Or killing and raping every time you want to. Well, I already do that. I do that every time I want to kill and rape somebody. I've done it, which is 0 times, because I've never, ever legitimately wanted to kill or rape anybody, because that's just a horrible, wrong thing to do. And I'm a decent person, I like to think. So I do go around and rape and kill as many people as I like, which is 0, because most people don't want to do that. And we don't need to be told that by an outside source or threatened with punishment to prevent us from doing it. Even if it was legal, I wouldn't do it. Why would I ever want to rape anybody or murder anybody? I don't want. Now, if someone like murdered my kids or something, well, then even it being illegal wouldn't stop me. I'd find them, and the court, they'd be lucky if the court got them before I did. But, just as for everyday life, I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't even want to hurt bugs or animals. I'm not a violent person. So, yeah. So it just saying something on the internet, it's not a crime. Most of what goes on the internet is fiction anyway. Where am I at? I have lost my place. I think we're about out of questions. I don't even got a lot over here in the live chat. Let me see where we're at over here. Did I get these? I got Eric Wong. Kevin Payton paid his $2 tithe to Phil. Let's see if he asked a question. Hail, Phil. Have looked into the new Diamondback SDR 9mm. Thoughts? I think a 9mm revolver is stupid, to be honest. Just get a .357 Magnum and shoot lighter loads in it if you want to, but get a .357 Magnum revolver. What's the point of neutering a revolver? Unless that revolver was going to be substantially smaller than the regular revolver, which in some cases, like Taurus has made some where the 9mm is substantially smaller. In the case of the SDR, I do believe it's the same size as the .357 Magnum. Excuse me. So just get the .357 Magnum. The only time I can say, well, at least you got a good reason to get a 9mm revolver is all I carry is 9mm. My primary gun is a 9mm. Like I carry a Beretta 92, and I want a backup in case I get in a situation where I go to shoot my 92 and it explodes. And I want a little revolver that I can use the ammo that I salvage from my carry gun or my extra mag. I want to be able to use that in my backup gun. And then a 9mm makes sense. But other than that, that's about it. If it's going to be your primary carry or anything like that, doesn't make any sense. So I say get the .357 mag. It might not be the answer you wanted, but that's the answer I give. But yes, I do concede it makes sense if it's going to be your backup gun. And let's say you carry a 9mm gun with an extra magazine. Something happens, you go to shoot your 9mm, it jams, it fails, which semi-automatics do. And now you're stuck with it doesn't work, but you've got the magazine that's in it that you can pop out, and you got your other magazine. Well, then you got your backup that's also 9mm. Then you fire your 6 rounds out of that, and then you start reloading from your magazines. Boom, boom, boom. That makes perfect sense as a backup gun. Where am I at here? Jacoby Crows. Why is that a weird number? Do you see any real use for 5.7? Well, this is a good question, and I'm going to answer it here in a second. Or should I just sell that one and get that used SP101? If you're asking me, do I think there's more uses for the SP101 and 357 Magnum? Well, of course there is. It's a better overall useful gun. If you're asking me, is 5.7 useless? I used to would have more quickly said, it's just stupid, choose something else. And I said upon recently some testing where I tested against different things. I measured how much a 5.7 would move a 10-inch steel plate compared to how much a 9mm moves a 10-inch steel plate. I checked to see how well a 9mm, tested how well a 9mm penetrates a hard barrier like a refrigerator. Did the same thing with 5.7 by 28. I tested how they go through glass and jugs of gel side by side, 9mm. And, because you always say, just get a 9mm. You can get 9mm with 16, 17 rounds. Why get 20 rounds of 5.7? So I did all that testing thinking I'd be able to say, look, the 9mm outperformed the 5.7 by 28 in 5 out of 6 tests. But so far, they've both performed to the point where they perform beyond the scale. Like if I line up 5 jugs of gel and I shoot through 5 jugs of gel with the 9mm, it goes through all 5. And if I shoot through with the 5.7 by 28, it goes through all 5. So, there's only a maximum testing point, which would exceed like what happened to the human body. Like if you can shoot through 2 inches of oak, it's going to go through a person. And both of them will go through the 2-inch piece of wood. So, so far my testing has not proven what I wanted to prove. It has not shown what I wanted to show. It's actually making it to where I might have to reevaluate my thinking on this. So it's a hard question to answer. So I do think it probably does have uses. If you want a higher capacity gun that, it's very light recoiling and all this other stuff, then I could see where it is fairly. I've even got a video like the most useless gun ever made, and it's an FN 5.7. But like I said, and I owned it, and I said it's still useless. There's no real practical use for it. But like I said, I might have to eat those words. So we'll see. Jury's still out. But that was a good question. Jacoby Crows got a good question in there. And that was it for my super chats right now. But make sure we're caught up over here. And let's get to the regular. Do I have any more emails to share? Nope. All right. So let's get over here to the live chat and see if there's anything coming in over there. Chris Snyder. Oh, Chris Snyder just upped his membership. So he got an entry into the Silver Bullet drawing, the 5.7 by 20. No, 4570. Not 5.7. I got my numbers mixed up there. We go over here and see if we got any questions coming in. I can't go all the way up. That's the one to kill the were-possum. What? No, you don't shoot were-possums. Were-possums are good creatures. Did you learn nothing from my were-possum series of designs over on my website? Night of the Were-Possum, Attack of the Were-Possum, and Curse of the Were-Possum. If they teach you anything, it's that you don't have to hurt a were-possum. It's not going to hurt you. In fact, it might help you out. Speaking of comic books, who is stronger, She-Hulk or Doc Samson? She-Hulk is stronger than Doc Samson. Well, it depends on which Doc Samson incarnation you're looking at. Like the Doctor or whatever they called himself, or they've fluctuated his strength over the years. Now, it used to be his strength was tied to the length of his hair. Longer his hair was, the stronger he was. That's no longer canon. They threw that away. Now he's gone through multiple mutations where different personalities and blah, 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 and kind of like the Hulk. And some of them are in the 90-ton, 100-ton plus category. And when he's in that special state, he would be as strong as She-Hulk because she's 100-ton plus. But She-Hulk used to be, 75 tons was like her maximum lift. Now she's plus 100 tons, 100 plus. It's just a scale rating. It's not literally 75 tons. It's, just if you're rating them on a scale from 1 to 100, she was a 75. Samson was like a 60 at his best, but he's fluctuated up to like 90 and 100 sometimes. But generally, he ends up back down to around 60. Class 60 or whatever they want to call it. So She-Hulk is generally stronger than Samson. And if you're looking at her Savage She-Hulk, where she kind of bulked up and went crazy and started fucking Thor, well, she's like almost in Hulk level. She's like Hulk level strength, like the Incredible Hulk level strength. Marvel Comics White Tiger versus DC Comics Bronze Tiger. Who wins? I don't even know who the Bronze Tiger in DC Comics is. I mean, I know them like if I see them, but I don't know much about them. So I'm going to give the edge to White Tiger because I know more about them. But as far as the Bronze Tiger, I don't know much about them. As far as I always knew, he's just a martial artist. He doesn't have any actual powers. Whereas, if I'm correct, does he actually have any powers? There's a gold tiger now, but she's Wakandan and she can turn things into gold, touching them. But she also has tiger-like abilities too. But that's also a Marvel. But if I remember correctly, Bronze Tiger doesn't have any powers. He's just like, maybe slightly enhanced, whereas White Tiger has that magic amulet that gives them superpowers. So I'm going to give them the edge. With as little as I know about them, I'm giving him the edge. Or her. It's a her in most cases now. I had bank screw up and bounce a $2,500 check. There were no charges. Wells Fargo bounced all checks one Memorial Day weekend in Alaska. Yeah, they've done stuff like that before. I sent you an email with photo of Phil at IKEA today. Phil was staring at me through the eye of various plush octopuses. Did you pay your tithe? Maybe he's knowing you didn't pay your tithe. So he's like, I see you, motherfucker. You can't get away from me. You're going to pay for that shit. We're down to the last call for questions here. If you got any questions, better get them in quick because we got a couple minutes here. Is the Punisher a dark version of Captain America since Cap is a super soldier and Frank is a Marine? No. There's no super soldier stuff involved with Frank Castle or anything. He's just ruthless and good with weapons. Best good guy movie, bad guy gun movie. Best good guy movie gun, bad guy movie gun, good guy movie gun. For a topic for, maybe I'll write that down. Bad guy gun, good guy gun. All right. I read a novel about the Flash where he was concerned about ripping off the bad guy's hand by pulling his gun away from him at supersonic speed. That was realistic writing. That's more realistic writing, yes. Now, sometimes they'll cover things off like, they're covered by an aura of, frictionless energy that prevents things like that from happening. Because, like every time they show in the comic book where the Flash, I got to evacuate this building. And he just grabs people and pulls them out. He killed every one of them. So they write in an explanation that an invulnerability aura is extended to them. As soon as his hands come within a certain range of them, they're enveloped by the aura and they're protected too until he lets go of them. So At least if you explain it like that I could, even if it's pseudo sciencey, I'll accept it, because sometimes things are magic in comic book, but you got to take the time to explain it. What was the meaning of the end of Black Adam? Why did he end up with Superman? It was just to try to tie in the universe. It had no meaning. It was ridiculous. And after working with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they said, DCU said, yeah, we don't want to do this again. Don't want to do this again. I think we got a super chat coming in. I got to get over to. Let's see here. Boom. Yes, it was Jonathan Aho. He's paying his $2 tithe to Phil, because I think maybe it scared him when I said that he was watching Scorch. So he didn't say nothing, but he did a super chat. So he's the last super chat over there. Did you hear about the proposed pro wrestling match between Kane, the Governor, Tim Waltz? It's supposedly for charity. I don't think that's a real thing. You need to test for measurable wound cavity and penetration depth. Just break down and buy a block of FBI. That doesn't really tell you fuck. It tells you how it does in jail. That's about it. Hulk gets stronger the angrier it gets. So if John Wick became the Hulk, his dog got killed, how strong would he be? Well, world breaker Hulk level, I would say. How can I get in the silver bullet drawing? You either got to up your donation on Patreon by $5 or sign up as a $5 patron on Patreon. This is only open to Patreon. I got to get Patreon up because we got to support Pets and Vets. TYM Triple P is actually funding itself right now. Of course, that could change in a month, but we're trying to raise money for Pets and Vets. It's the one that's having like a $500-600 shortfall every month, where we're spending more than we're making over there. I'm a $50 member already. Well, that don't matter. It's got to do it. I always include the already current members, and you will get one entry, because you'll get 10 entries, because one of the 3 bullets I'm giving away is for already a member people. People that are already a member are going to be exclusively registered for one. For every membership you already, like if you had a $20 membership, well, you're already getting 4 entries into the drawing for one of these. And if you upped it $5, well, you get 5 entries into this for the regular. Well, no, you get 4 for the regular, and then you'll get an entry into the other 2 for the other 2. So there's 2 of the bullets that are only for people who up their patronage or sign up new. And then there's 1 so that I'm including everybody that's just going to people that were already a member, because I always include them somehow. But usually I just include them in general, and it means I don't get any new people, because everybody's like, I already get entries. So that's how you're already in it for one of the 3 silver bullets. You're just not in it for the other 2. If that makes sense. Gel blocks give you a lot more measurable control data than shooting a hog or a jug of water. Not really. A hog gives you better than gel. Gel, you have to translate. Well, how would this do in real material? It might not have any relationship to how it would do in real material, because what if it hit a bone? What if it hit more dense muscle tissue? What if it hit this? So gel tells you basically nothing. It's just where you can compare directly, like this bullet does this in gel and this bullet does that in gel. But all it really shows you is what they do in gel. It doesn't translate to anything else. That's like saying, well, one bullet penetrates metal sheeting better and one doesn't. Well, what's that tell you about how they work about people? It doesn't at all. One just might have a better bullet diameter geometry that goes better through metal, and one doesn't. But the one that didn't go through the metal might work better in people. It's not relatable. And gel isn't relatable to really anything else, period. People have misinterpreted what gel is for over the years, and people on YouTube are really bad about enforcing those misinterpretations. or I should say, reconfirming them, or reinforcing them, I guess would be the better word. Would you wear the Ultraman suit or crystal for self-defense? Ultraman suit or crystal? Ultraman suit. Ultraman's not a suit. Ultraman's an alien that trades places with a human. All right, that's it for today, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Remember, we got the new designs up. We got the new AR in the stone design up. We got the new Don't Tread on Me Again, I Dare You design up if anybody wants those. So go on over and get them. Help support TYM Triple P. Otherwise, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody for keeping the conversation rolling. Thank everybody who helped support the channel. Everything is appreciated. I got to try to fix the problem YouTube has caused me over the last day or two. Last 10 days, actually. So if you see any reposts, that's why. Otherwise, I'll see you all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.